Welcome back to my channel. My name is Monica, and today we're getting into all things joy, pleasure, leisure, anxiety, generational trauma, survivor's guilt, existential crises. I feel like God watches me in my bedroom, and more.
I've done this time and time again. Like Sisyphus and that boulder, I'm plagued by my messy tendencies. At 29, I realized that life is only as difficult as I make it, and I have this sick habit of self-torture. Why do what I must do in a timely manner? Why break things down into manageable tasks and create structure and order and show up as my highest self? Instead, I seem to need the equivalent of Sisyphus' entire boulder perched agonizingly at the base of my neck, twisting me out of shape to muster the pressure required to do even the simplest of things. Send a follow-up email, wash one dish, imagine a better way forward. Simply put, I've turned over every stone looking for a reason, an excuse for why even with the whole world at my fingertips, so much potential and so much love and support, I still end up in the same place. I could tell you where it all started. I could give you the why. But no matter what I say, whether I talk about it, write about it, cry about it, the mess is still here. When I step back and take a bird's eye view of the situation, it's not just about why I can't get it done, but also how my why has never been good enough. A messy room. There's literally people dying. Millions of adults push through the basics of life. Why can't you? When I compare my mess to true and inescapable human suffering, I'm left with two possibilities. Either I'm overblowing the whole situation, and fixing this is as simple as just cleaning up my mess and moving forward with my life, or I'm so irreparably broken that I can't fix it at all, and I should just give up. And let's be honest, why fix it when I can just start the cycle of overthinking again and again? If the root of my problem is inaction, sitting here thinking about action still is an action. It never has been. So here I am, trapped between my excuses and the overwhelming truth that it's always been up to me.
So I came to the realization at some point in the last maybe like 2 years that I have been pointlessly punishing myself. Like I knew I punished myself, but I never saw it as pointless. I was always like, okay, this is me self-improving. This is me being realistic. I'm so self-aware. Look at me, pat myself on the back. Like I'm just, just so smart. And I realized like, no, girl, I'm just self-harming. I have been delaying my life by waiting to be good enough to just show up and exist. Like I have thought that there was this like barrier to entry to being a human being. But then at the same time, I'd be like, I don't know. It just feels like I'm living my life through a frosted like window glass. Like I feel like I'm not present and I just don't connect with people. Also, people in the comments be like, are you autistic? And it's just like like, am I? I don't even think so from the perspective that it's just like, nah, like I would have no problem with being autistic. I just feel like the way that I am makes so much sense with the way that the world is. Like, and I just feel like I am in this iteration of reincarnation. Like, this is just what I'm navigating. Like, and maybe that's autism. Anyways, so I feel like when you've like been raised having to like prove yourself, or even if you weren't raised that way, like it's just an aspect of being gendered as a woman, or maybe being colonized in one version or another, like you have not, like your words not taken at like face value. Like you can't just say something and it's like, yes, you're right. Like I feel like I have just been blabbering and yapping and fighting tooth and nail to be understood, and it's just me, when I really think about it, repeating the same thing over and over and over and over, and it's really infected every single aspect of my life. I've realized that life is like this like two sides of the same coin kind of conundrum. On one end, life is really complicated and an uphill battle and like so much strife and struggle. It's generational at this point. Like it's in my DNA, right? Like it's never ending suffering. But then on the other end, it's like life's what you make it. So let's make it rock, right? Like I feel like life's what you make it. And I've been making it really, really hard. I think that's what's at the end of your 20s. It's just like, chill out. If you are blessed enough to have something that you're really into, depending on how you deal with yourself, you might ruin that connection. And I feel like I've ruined that connection because I've never thought that if you are good at something, it should be easy, because I feel like I put a lot of pride around struggle. I'm like, oh, I worked for it. I fought for it. I cried for it. I just struggled so much through it. I had so much to say about it. I did so much for it. That means it's worthwhile. And maybe that's not it. Maybe that's not how life needs to be, right? Like that's been where I'm at with everything I'm doing. Like maybe I can just enjoy things and it doesn't have to be a struggle, right? I mean, obviously there's like difficulties with skills, with whatever your passion is, and maybe navigating like the business aspects of that if you're just trying to monetize your passion as well. But like generally speaking, if you liking it and you being good at it should be enough for you to want to do it. But I feel like I've just been in this never-ending battle with myself, procrastinating, panicking, excuse making to the point of like social dysfunction. I've gone into debt. I've lost friends. I've isolated myself fully because of my anxiety around like my creative output. And for me, I've gotten to the point where it's like, girl, what's the problem? Like legitimately, like what's the problem? If you are still with me on this video right now, this whole entire video is about, girl, what is the problem? Like, is it this, is it that, is it that? Like, let's really get to the root of it. What's the problem? Because like when you really like look at it, like once again, if you have any sort of passion, and your passion doesn't have to be like you're making stuff with your hands. It could literally be like the time that you spend with the people around you. Like when you just feel like elated and like you're in like flow state and it just feels good. And it doesn't have to be like when I'm in that space with making art after I've procrastinated enough, thrown enough tantrums. Like when I'm in that flow state, it's amazing, right? Like all I got to do in reality is go into that little room and create and have fun. Like that's literally all I have to do. That's what I fought to do. Like that's all I literally have to do to be an artist and to make art. I just have to make art. But I don't understand why I need to have some major deadline, some fear of losing it all, of being forgotten, of losing myself, to force myself to like create in this sort of cortisol induced short spurt that's really intense, but also very destructive and not sustainable in the long term. When at the end of the day, if I love it, why can't I just do it? And that's the question in this video. And in pursuit of that question, Audre Lorde's uses of the erotic as power came to mind. So we're going to talk about different aspects of that and just get into it all.
Today's topic is, I complicated things so much in my head, I can no longer enjoy the things that I'm actually good at. And in honor of that, let's get into today's sponsor, CHEEX. CHEEX is an ethical pleasure platform that offers everything from diverse, artistically shot erotic films, sexy audio stories that really let your imagination run wild, and it also has expert-led workshops on intimacy, relationships, and self-pleasure. And the best part, it's all designed with women and queer folks in mind, making it a safe and shame-free space to explore what actually turns you on. Finding pleasure and satisfaction in life isn't always about sex, but I found that taking time for myself in that way has been important for reclaiming my sexual agency. On CHEEX, you can explore a beautifully curated collection of films that explore different moods and fantasies. You can expand your sexual education and answer your relationship questions through access to tutorials, masterclasses, and an online magazine. CHEEX has high-quality content that celebrates all bodies and identities with no ads or intrusive tracking.
There's a lot of power in approaching pleasure with curiosity instead of shame, and CHEEX makes that really exciting and intentional. You can enjoy unlimited access to CHEEX for 7 days with my code MONICA7 for 7 days free. That's when you sign up for the annual subscription. And during those 7 days, you can switch to the monthly plan if you prefer, or you can cancel it if you find that CHEEX is just not for you. CHEEX is ethical, emphasizing fair pay and consent for all performers. So whether you're looking to watch, listen, or, vibe, check out CHEEX. They'll have what you're looking for. Tap the link in my description below to start your free trial, and thank you later. So the word erotic refers to something related to or arousing sexual desire or excitement. It can be used to talk about art, literature, films, or experiences that emphasize sensuality and passion. In uses of the erotic, Audre Lorde sees the erotic as a deep source of knowledge, creativity, and empowerment that's not just about sex, but feeling alive and deeply connecting with yourself and finding profound joy in life. Real quick, let's get into joy. Joy for me has often felt like a frivolous thing. If you're an immigrant, I'm sure you can relate. I always feel like I should have done something more practical. I have this constant go over what I'm doing and what I should have done. It's eating me up. And if it's not your family's fears in your ears, or el divino niño watching you from the distance, it's the material reality that maybe you can't have your dreams for dinner. And even when your dreams can cover everyone's dinner, and everyone celebrates your triumphs, the voices of doubt fade away, and in comes your own pessimistic monologue. A cycle doomed to repeat. Edwidge Danticat has a book called Create Dangerously, The Immigrant Artist at Work. And in it, there's a quote that I want to read. Self-doubt is probably one of the stages of acclimation in a new culture. It's a staple for most artists. As immigrant artists for whom so much has been sacrificed, so many dreams have been deferred. We already doubt so much. We might have been simpler, safer to have become the more helpful doctors, lawyers, engineers our parents wanted us to be. When our worlds are literally crumbling, we tell ourselves how right they may have been, our elders, about our passive careers as distant witnesses. Who do we think we are? I've always thought a lot about the phrase sinvergüenza. Dominicans use it a lot. In Spanish, it literally translates to without shame. You would say, for example, ella es una sinvergüenza. She is a without shame. And you'll use it generally to describe somebody that is ill-mannered, sleazy, opportunistic. You could also use it in a teasing way for somebody that's like bold and really out there. But generally speaking, it does have a negative connotation, and I have been called a sinvergüenza a lot. I've always felt like a sinvergüenza for being an artist, and not in this like empowering and subversive way. I have kind of always felt that way in this sort of shameful, attention-seeking sort of way, like this sort of repressed, subconscious sort of way. For as much as I'm like, I love art and I love what I do, I've always felt like I've had such an association with this that is hard for me to separate from. At some point in my 20s, I realized it wasn't anything that I was actually doing or not doing. I feel like it's just like the way my brain is wired. No matter how I try to talk through it, think through it, logic through it, like it's like this weird feeling inside of me. And I always used to think it's because I wanted to be an artist. I was like, okay, like I chose something that is unacceptable culturally, and it's something that was really tough for me growing up to like, want to be an artist and push through boundaries and yada, 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 my narrative. But I've realized as I've gotten older, like I could have been the president and I would still have this like relationship with shame. The problem wasn't that I am an artist and because of that I feel shame. It's just like something that's inside of me, right? I could have been performing life-saving surgery, or I could just be committing colors to canvas. And I feel like this is kind of like internally inside of me. I'm always itching to crawl out of my skin. I really like be at home putting together theatrical productions with you.
So, Audre Lorde says an important way in which the erotic connection functions is the open and fearless underlying of my capacity for joy, in the way my body stretches to music and opens into response, hearkening to its deepest rhythms. So, every level upon which I sense also opens to the erotically satisfying experience. Whether it is dancing, building a bookcase, writing a poem, examining an idea, that self connection is a shared measure of the joy which I know myself to be capable of feeling, a reminder of my capacity for feeling, and that deep, irreplaceable knowledge of my capacity for joy comes to demand from all of my life that it be lived within the knowledge that such satisfaction is possible and does not have to be called marriage, nor God, nor an afterlife. This is one reason why the erotic is so feared and so often relegated to the bedroom alone when it is recognized at all. For once we begin to feel deeply all aspects of our lives, we begin to demand from ourselves and from our life pursuits that they feel in accordance with the joy which we know ourselves to be capable of. Our erotic knowledge empowers us, becomes a lens through which we scrutinize all aspects of our existence, forcing us to evaluate those aspects honestly in terms of their relative meaning within our lives. And this is a grave responsibility projected from within each of us, not to settle for the convenient, the shoddy, the conventionally expected, nor the merely safe. A word, right? So my question has been, how do I dive deep into that pool of feeling, right? I feel like I waited so long to feel good. I delayed gratification that by the time gratification came, I had no clue how to take it in. Essentially, the idea that they tell you life gets better one day, just wait on it, wait on it, wait on it, and then life got better. And it's like, what do I do with it? And beyond sitting with joy and pleasure, receiving it and accepting it as enough, as a valid enough pursuit or quest, like not feeling like I need to justify my existence through my output, but that I'm allowed to enjoy life just to enjoy life, right? That it is good to feel good. That for me is a revolutionary idea. And I've been reflecting a lot more on how a lot of these writers and activists, especially within the Black liberation movement, have focused on joy. It's something that I never really took in, how our capacity to experience pleasure is a part of our power and is necessary for revolution. I feel like I've rushed pleasure from the bedroom, rushing and moving mechanically through the motions, to not taking the time to honor and enjoy the food that nourishes me and sustains me, to being so overwhelmed with the magnitude of, let's say, nature, that when I go on a hike, rather than taking it in and feeling immersed, I only look down at my feet. Like, I don't remember the things I see, the things I do. I let berries spoil in the fridge because they're so expensive and so delicious that I keep waiting for the right time to eat them and they all turn into moldy mush. I don't actually wear the things that I like because I keep waiting for a day where is the right day to wear them. So I spend all my days kind of not feeling like myself or feeling good about myself. Honestly, I used to think I was broken. I used to think there was something like inherently wrong with me. And lately I've just kind of been realizing I'm an immigrant. How many of our parents and family members hoard? They don't take things out of packaging. They let new things go bad. New technology like corrodes and becomes like brick, like no longer functional because it's too precious to use. It's too precious to touch. You don't buy things that you want until they're on sale. It's crazy. Like my parents grew up in an era where like nuts and certain fruits were holiday luxuries. And I still have to like mentally make myself enjoy things and remember that I can eat certain things, even though I wasn't raised with like crazy limitations. Like it's in my DNA at this point, because that sort of withholding, that sort of limitation is part of your survival. But what happens when that limitation and that repression kind of harms you, robs you of your human experience, and no longer serves a purpose in your daily life? I feel like I've been edging myself for 30 years at this point. It's driving me crazy. Like, it's like, girl, relax. There's always more. In my mind, there is like this limitation, and I feel like I always have to like hold on to things. I have to make them last. I have to like continue delaying gratification because what if it's not enough? What if I run out? What if I'll never get this again? And even though I logically understand that this is not true, it's like it's in my body, it's in my anxiety.
And it's something so deeply intertwined in me that I never really recognized it. The older I've gotten, I feel like it's gone from just being like, oh, she's so shy and like whatever, to like, I feel like now my repression is becoming dysfunctional. I feel like I struggle to let loose and really be present with the people that know me the most and I feel most connected to. I feel like I have a lot of shame around feeling good, to the point that I feel like I can't even feel good around the people that I care about, because I feel like feeling good and pleasure are these things that should be experienced in private, and it's just deeply like intimate for me just to feel this deep capacity for feeling, like what Audre Lorde is talking about, like to feel the true power of joy and pleasure and just finding safety and comfort in your body. And this is kind of why I say I feel like a sinvergüenza for choosing the life that I wanted. Like I feel this inherent shame. Whether everyone around me celebrates me, tells me I'm doing a great job, whether it's mirrored in my income and accolades, in every single reputable way in which you can affirm somebody of their success, I still feel this almost shame and embarrassment for feeling good. Ew. It's like a dysregulation, right? And it's exhausting, not only for myself, right? Like, but for everyone around me. I feel like I fought to get what I want, and now I'm fighting about getting what I want. Like, I got what I want, and now I'm fighting about it. And it's just like, what's the problem? Like, what's really the problem? So I stay having a revelation. I think the most important realization of my 20s was that if knowing was enough, I wouldn't have a single problem. I am clearly an overthinker, and my profession makes it so that it is my job to think, to reflect, to analyze, to criticize. I spend more time than the average person in deep reflection. That's not a good thing. That doesn't make me a better person. That doesn't even make me a smart person. Growing up, my brother would come back during his college breaks, and I would talk in circles, a million miles a minute, catching him up on every single existential crisis I had had since the last time I saw him. I was probably in my teens slash late teens at that point. And with him, I would essentially try to get to the bottom of what it all really means, like really big picture questions, like the things that every single human since the beginning of time has ever wondered. I wanted to figure it out right there, right now, in that conversation, in the bedroom, in the Bronx, New York. Like, we were gonna figure it out right now, you know. And also, if he would dismiss me, I would literally get hysterical. I would just talk and talk and talk and talk and obsess. And bless his heart, because there was nothing he could really do or say except let me keep banging my head onto every corner of the fishbowl that is the teenage brain, because it really wasn't about anything except me being in my late teens and having a lot of really complicated ideas and feelings and not having an outlet for them. This is why I became an artist. Um he always listened and gave me his thoughts, but something that he would always say that stuck with me is that I have to stay busy. And it seems like an obvious thing to say, but legitimately what I've learned is that I have to stay busy. Like, I need to take all of this energy and put it into something. I realize depression is just me thinking about myself too much. We should not be thinking about ourselves this much. We should not be looking in the mirror this much. We should not be in this constant hyper awareness of us as individuals, because we are meant to be around each other, right? But like, this is the function of this world that we live in. Like, that's kind of what it is. So dealing with that is kind of complicated. I've just been thinking too much, and I think that's why Audre Lorde's text for me was really impactful. I think it redefines what doing is for me. I've always felt like there had to be like a goal. There had to be like this finish point. There would be a day where I would be good enough, where it would mean something, where I would get that affirmation, when I would be a good person. And she's just like, enjoy the pleasures of life, because life is about pleasure, or life is about a lot of things, but you also deserve to feel good within that. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what do you like, really, that's all there is? Like, all this thinking, all this talking in circles, all this pacing, all this crying, all this screaming, all this just perpetual, just never ending yapping, really? Like, I don't have to do that. Like, there's nothing for me to figure out. I could just become an active participant in my pleasure and enjoy life. What does that mean, right? I've concluded right here in the season finale of my 20s, I am physically dysregulated. Now, I'm sure a lot of you could have told me that even without knowing me, just like I'm sure everybody in my life could have told me that. It's not that I'm like, oh my God, I have so many thoughts. I am literally like, my body is literally like going through it. And guess what? Never recognized it. That's it. That's all. This is like, there's no mystery. There's nothing that I need to continue working on. I feel like we know as people in the 21st century more than most people have ever known in the history of humanity put together. Like, there's not much more I need to know. That's why I say if knowing was enough, I would not have a single problem, because I tried to know so much and I still felt the exact same way, right? So I'm physically dysregulated. That's all. I do not need to know more. I don't need to be better. I don't need to read more, read less, work more, work less, make more, make less, read, write, think, not think, travel, hide in my room, or be the center of attention. None of it. None of it matters. None of it changes anything. I've done everything. That's the thing too. I've done everything. I've been everywhere. I've done so much in this life. I don't even remember the things that I've done. And it's still not enough. I've done so much that I could, like, it's still not enough. I am literally my ancestors' wildest dreams, y'all. Like, at this point, like, yeah, I pushed through so many personal boundaries, and it's not even about, like, the public stuff, just within myself. And this goes for so many of us. That's why I say, like, just through, like, the self-work that we do, the stuff that we consume, the ways in which we relate to each other, the active steps we take to be better people in our lives, the way in which we have the freedom to create, to share, all of these things. Like, we are legitimately our ancestors' wildest dreams, y'all. Like, it's not on, like, legitimately, like, what else is there, like, for me to do, right? Like, I just realized I am scared. I feel like I'm a scared little girl inside of my body. And that's the dysregulation I feel. And that's why I feel like, hey, 30 is literally a few months away. And I logically understand it. Have no qualms with getting older. No beef here. Please, get me out the 20s. Loved every moment of it. Ready for this new chapter in my life. Why do I feel like a child? And not that I feel like it's imposter syndrome. Everybody always jumps to imposter syndrome. It's not imposter syndrome for me. This is not like a, oh my God, I feel like everyone's so much more qualified. Like, I don't even think that. Like, I think most people aren't really that qualified, and it's not even a slight to them. I think it's just like, a lot of us don't know what we're doing. And like, even within a lot of our jobs, like, what is software engineering? Like, what the fuck does that mean? That didn't exist. Like 100 years ago. Like, this idea that it's like, none of us are qualified for anything. So I don't have imposter syndrome. Let me regulate. It's not that. It's just legitimately, I feel like a little scared little girl. Like, I feel like in my body, I feel that. Like, I'm outside and I feel like I'm quivering like a damn chihuahua. And I think it's so easy to be like, oh, Gary, you just have social anxiety. Why? Why is my body doing that? Like, why? Like, and I'm laughing is because I really spent like the last like 10 to 15 years of my mind trying to solve it here. But it was here. It was in the body all along. I feel like I am cowering inside of myself to the point of dysfunction, of self-destruction. And I know this, and, I've thought about this for a long time. I thought that if I got to like the root of it, if I found the little needle in the haystack that poked a hole in my subconscious at some point in my youth that like made me this endlessly obsessive, depressingly like person that just like fixates on everything, that I would finally be able to function. And I'm like, aha, that's the trauma, or aha, like that was the thing. Now that I know it, I am freed. Absolutely not. Now you just know it and you still feel the same. Because to feel, a feeling is felt in your body and not in your mind, right? That's why I'm like, it's all literally about my relationship to pleasure. How can I enjoy things if I literally never learned how to enjoy things? Like, if I've never allowed myself to enjoy a single thing, how can I literally feel okay when I don't know how to feel okay? It's, I've always felt like I'm drowning in a puddle of water, and it's truly a puddle. Like, when you're little, okay, the puddle can be an ocean. The puddle is bigger than you with a big puddle, but I swear I'm fully capable of pulling my head out of the water, but I won't. What would I do with all this fresh air? If I've always said this, if I could achieve my best self, like, if I could be released from the shackles of my own whatever I feel right here, like, if I could be freed from that and come out of the anxiety and generational traumas and just the dysregulation that I feel, oh, what would I do with all that freedom? Oh my God, how can I exist? How can I possibly exist without having to waterboard myself to pick up like some shoes off the floor, right? Like, how can I possibly be somebody that like does something without kicking and screaming about it? Like, I would free up so much time in my life if I could just do the things that I have to do without having to have the world's longest wind up and self-flagellation, like crawling on broken glass on my knees just to make a pretty little painting. Like, what is wrong with me? I am dysregulated. It feels, I've learned to feel good about feeling bad. So yeah, the realization right here at the end of my 20s is that there's nothing more that I necessarily need to realize. Like, of course, like, self-improvement is a lifelong journey, but what I need to focus on now is learning how to enjoy life. I think the reason why joy and pleasure and leisure and all of these things are an important aspect of liberation is because I think, especially if you're a woman, but in general, I think from a young age, a lot of our natural impulses are taken out of us. So the things that you are naturally drawn to, that naturally connect with who you are, you learn how to reject them because you would get in trouble for them if you made too much noise, if you showed too much excitement, if you were too much in the center, if you did like whatever you were doing that was too much, that was a response to feeling a fullness of being, was something that was muted. So you learn how to hide and you learn how to be hyper vigilant of your own pleasure and joy and all of these things. And, I think reflecting on all these things are important, but I feel like if you're somebody that's already thought about all of this extensively, you don't have to keep, like, there's nothing more to figure out. You already know who you are. And I think sometimes it's really disheartening. For me, like, I would always feel like, wow, like, I am getting these amazing opportunities that are just the type of thing that like people want to do. I'm in these spaces, I'm in a major city, I get to travel, I get to do all of these things, and for some reason I just don't connect with it. I'm not enjoying it. I was thinking a lot about that with Solange's Cranes in the Sky when she talks about trying to drink it away, change her hair, travel the country, do this, do that, like all the things that she tried to do to kind of deal with the pain. And when you think about like this constant sort of lack of satisfaction in your life, and I think if you look at it from this perspective of needing to find the thing to fill the void, needing to it's something that's missing. It's somewhere. Maybe I need to go visit a new country. Maybe I need to go and cut my hair. I used to cut my hair all of the time. Like, since I shaved my head in 2020 last, this is the longest I've just let my hair grow without needing to cut it off, because I would literally be like, I feel weird. I feel dysregulated. I feel anxiety. If I think about me in my early 20s, I wasn't sleeping enough. I wasn't eating enough. I was just under high stress being in school and having all these expectations for myself. And rather than being like, wow, I'm like feeling burnout, I'm feeling really tired, I'd be like, I think I need to cut 6 inches off of my hair. That will make it better. And then I'd be like, oh my God, I hate it. But then it's just like this never ending cycle of needing to change something, do something, be something, hyperanalyze something, just this constant running around. And in reality, I just needed to learn how to enjoy things. I feel like that's something I never really thought about. Like literally learning how to be present, learning how to enjoy, learning how to make the mundane pleasurable, how to make small moments pleasant and just special. So even within the idea of like, oh, I love this dress. I can't wear it yet. It's not the right time. Like just putting it on, right? And I think some people are wired that way. Like for example, I think my boyfriend's wired this way, and I think a lot of my friends are wired this way. I always attract people that kind of have a different relationship to pleasure than me, because I'm like, I can't deal with another me. If we're both gonna be like, no, we shouldn't do that, what's going on, like complaining about everything and judging everything, like I don't want to hang out with me. Like, I want to hang out with somebody else. So like I always appreciate and analyze that, like, oh, like you got this like delicious ingredient. We don't have to save it for a special day. It's a random Tuesday night and we can put on some music and dance in the kitchen and eat this delicious meal. Revolutionary. And it's like, these are like normal things, but it's like, I'm realizing that like this level of repression that I've gotten to, and I think it's also been a response to like the pandemic and stuff. Now I'm just venting. Everybody kind of went back into their show, and I think that's why there's been this constant wave of hyper analysis, everybody talking about everything, drama all the time. I think everybody's in their yapping era too, and I think it's like everybody's trying to make things make sense, make their life make sense. How did I get to this point? Why did this happen? Da 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 da. When in reality, I think we're all just dysregulated, right? But yeah, I think it's something that we don't think about, how enjoying the moment is an active practice, how you have to work towards feeling good, how happiness is not something that just happens. I think I look at people for whom stuff like that comes easier, and then I'm like, oh, there's something wrong with me, I need to go fix it, rather than like, I just gotta stick through it. It's very easy for me to isolate and to be alone. It's kind of like my norm, but that doesn't mean that it's okay. I think a lot of the traits that are valued in our society around, like, for example, independence, individuality, self-reliance, is a coping mechanism that I've been rewarded for, and I've rewarded myself for. Like, oh yeah, like all of you need to go out all the time and just have these big friend groups. Like I just like being on my own, and it's just like, you don't win points for that, babe. Your life will just be dull. Just because I can be at home all alone and not talk to anybody and like make money and live my life, and doesn't mean that like life has to be this way. And I think that's why, once again, Audre Lorde's text is so powerful. It's because it's like, yeah, you can live in one way, but it's like stepping into the full power, into the full depth, the profoundness that is feeling, that is joy, that is pleasure, and then the effect that will come from that, which is now you will demand that depth from everything. And that is collectively essential, because it means that everybody, like, it means that you will require that of yourself, therefore you will require that of everyone around you, and we can all elevate together. And it doesn't have to be, once again, this constant picking at yourself and making it make sense, because ultimately it's dysregulation. So the ability to sit down, that's why she says, whether you're building a bookcase, listening to music, whether you're chopping up some fruit, whether you're just cleaning your home, whether you're just sitting down looking outside the window, finding these moments where you are fully immersed and like in yourself. And what does that mean? Because it's like, I've understood these things. I've read these texts. It's literally finding that calmness in your body, realizing that a lot of the time there isn't anything going on. You didn't do anything wrong. That interaction that you had with someone that you ran into that you're now hyper fixating on wasn't weird. you just feel weird. And it's not, you aren't weird in your head. It's just you are literally feeling weird. And there's many reasons why you could feel weird. It's not because, once again, there's something fundamentally wrong with you. It's not something you have to now do this deep dive into and isolate yourself until you're better. It's literally maybe you didn't eat enough, maybe you didn't sleep enough. Maybe it's spring, histamine, like pollen makes me get anxiety because your body's kind of under a little bit more stress. I realized that in the last few years, like, oh wait, why do I feel a sense of impending doom? I probably need to take an allergy pill, right? It could be your cycle. It could be so many different things that make minor things feel bigger than they are, because now you're here having all of these obsessive thoughts. And it's like, I think I just need to eat a meal and like sit down. But like, we never give ourselves that time, because if you're, especially in a major city like me, you never get that time. You're constantly feeling the speed of other people, the cars. You're seeing so much stuff happening. We're online. We're watching everybody live a million lives. Like, I'm sure people watch me live a million lives and they're like, damn, this girl's doing a million things. I'm like, babes, I promise you, I'm just panicking over here. Like, I'm just legitimately panicking. And the biggest thing that I've done to deal with stuff like that is so simple. It's just literally realizing there's nothing going on. I love to do that. I'll literally be like, wait a second. There's nothing. It's just me in this room right now. There's nothing going on. Nobody needs anything from me. There's nothing. That email just hit my inbox and I felt my heart plummet to my fucking feet. And I'm over it and I'm feeling dysregulated. Now I'm thinking about how the last 10 years I've wasted and I'm not where I'm supposed to be and I'm a few months from 30 and I'm terrified for my life. Wait a second. There's nobody here breaking down the door. Why am I in fight or flight? There's nothing going on. I'm laughing because that's literally just it. There's nothing going on. That's, I think, what's at the end of it. There's literally nothing going on, and that's so liberating. Quick interjection. When I say there's nothing going on, obviously there's stuff going on, but the thing is that there's always stuff going on. I think getting older is realizing that this constant running around of like trying to make it make sense, try to make it work. Oh my God, this is a bad week. Maybe next week will be better. And like personalizing these sort of struggles as something inherently wrong with you is a road to living a life full of strife, of seeing your glass as half empty, because a bill is always due. There's always a problem. There's always something going on around the world. There's always terrible things happening. And being hyper aware of every single terrible thing that's ever happened ever, like you have to really be conscious of to what end are you doing this and what does it actually serve. And within that is sometimes just realizing that there's always stuff going on, but you yourself within yourself in the present moment are okay. You're safe. No one's breaking down the door. You're good. And you can kind of choose what you want. And going back to like the feeling like a child cowering within myself, part of growing up is just realizing no one's coming to save you, which on one end is terrifying because that means you have to figure out all these things. And there's like a big, barrier to entry into being an adult. There's a lot of things that we have to figure out how to do. And for some of us, it's easier than others. There's a lot of things to learn. But the other part of no one's coming to save you is no one's coming to reprimand you. Like, I feel like I'm always like, oh, I'm gonna get in trouble. Girl, you are 30 years old. You're not in trouble. But it's because my entire nervous system was birthed with so much anxiety over getting in trouble. Girl, if it's not your mom, it's your cousins, it's your aunts, it's your uncles, it's Jesus Christ, it's the Catholic priest, it's the news, it's everything. It's Santa Claus. He sees you when you're sleeping. It's the hypervigilance. Y'all, is like that. You don't have to participate in that. Like, you can be a sinvergüenza. You can let go of the shame. Because at the end of the day, girl, all you got is you. And that's where we're going to leave it. So I think this is going to be an ongoing conversation as I'm kind of learning how to verbalize some of these things more. And then I could also talk more about in another video, like actual, tangible, actionable things that I'm doing in my day-to-day to help with this like dysregulation. So moving past like, okay, I understand the different barriers. I understand like the cultural background, the cultural context, the religious context, the historical context, the societal context, the materialist context, all of these different contexts for why I am in this current position. Put that right there. How can I, in this present moment, my body outside of theory, outside of my mind, feel safe, feel comfortable? And then how can I show up for everybody in my life better? And how can I actually enjoy my time on this earth, y'all? So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you find more pleasure, love, and joy in your life. And we'll keep talking about this because this is the season finale of my 20s. So we got to get into a lot more in these next few months. We're going to figure it out. Okay, so if you made it to the end of the video, thank you very much. This has been a journey. Thank you again to CHEEX. Once again, you can click the link in my description and use my code Monica7 for 7 free days. It would really go a long way to help support the channel. Like, subscribe, all the good stuff. We are in the season finale of my 20s, so stay tuned because I have a lot more videos coming. And have a good night. Bye.